back to another video. For today's video, as you read by the title, it is going to be my thoughts on Archie Andrews in the series Riverdale. His character, his relationships, and why I think he will be happier with Betty. I made the same thing for Betty Cooper, and I explained my reasons why she'll be happier with Archie, and it's not going to be any different. But I love Archie. Whenever it's about Archie or Betty and the relationships that they should be in, my mind goes straight to Archie, so why not talk about my favorite OTP from this show. If you guys are new to this channel, hello, my name is Joyce. I do makeup looks, reactions, and reviews on TV shows, characters, plot lines, storylines, couples, song covers, and if you stay on my channel, I promise you will not regret one single second. I am very excited to get into this video. Let's get on with it. So as for every other character analysis, I start with what I know from the comics and based on what I've researched. Archie Andrews in the comics is basically your average typical teenager in high school. He's very clumsy, he would be goofy at times. He is the main character of the Archie comics, and he should honestly be the main character of the show because the way they're showing it in the show. He is also conflicted between Betty and Veronica. In the comics, Archie is seen more having an attraction towards Veronica than Betty. But that doesn't mean that he isn't fond of her. It always leaves him to who will he choose at the end. Growing up reading the comics, I also watched a TV show called Archie's Weird Mysteries, and I loved that show so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. I still love it till this day. And I felt like it was pretty similar to how they portrayed him in this show. His mom and dad are Mary and Fred Andrews. This is basically my summary on Archie Andrews, my opinion, my thoughts on him, what I've read from the comics so far, and from my research. Now let's talk about Archie Andrews in the show. Okay, Archie, honestly, he's probably like the only character who I can actually stand. Even after all the crazy storylines that the show has given him through season 1, season 2, and season 3, season 4, and even season 5, Archie has been the most selfless character in the show. I honestly don't understand why he's hated so much. I really feel like it's because he's part of a ship that most people don't like, Archie, but there's nothing really bad to say about him. I mean, yes, he's been into some horrible situations, but you always would find Archie trying to do the right thing. I love that about him in the show. He's always trying to protect his friend. It's just the storylines that are given to him in the show are just confusing and repetitive and very bad. I feel like it's not really like Archie's fault. It's just, I feel like it's the show. They don't know what to do with Archie's character at some time. That's why he always gets the most, like, either the most boring storylines, the most repetitive. He's also mainly like a sidelined character in the show. Jughead in the show is the one who's narrating, and Archie is like, in the show, he's just like this jock, this typical jock who all the females are attracted to him. Season 1, I just honestly, I liked Archie. He just really reminded me of like a typical teenager who goes to school, who does football, music, and how he was very passionate about music. That's what I loved until he started dating Veronica. It felt like all of that went away. I really enjoyed Archie in season 1. He was caught up, yes, in like an affair with Miss Grundy. This is something that really pisses me off about the show. It was the most problematic storyline in the show. Grundy just left Riverdale. She should have been like, the bitch literally groomed him. They had sex and he was still a minor, and she was an authoritative figure and she was her teacher, and she acted inappropriately, and instead they're like,
oh no, she just has to leave time.
Why? I feel like that storyline wasn't done right, especially on subject like these. You shouldn't be playing that lightly. This is actually real. It actually really happens in real life. There are female teacher predators who have preyed upon minors and had sex with them. And there are actual cases, real life cases. And I don't understand why the show has not at least put Grundy in jail. In Riverdale, it's like either you die or you run away or you get exiled or whatever, but I still feel like Grundy should have went to jail. Season 2, I still liked him. It's just like he was mostly being like Veronica's butler. I just did not like how Veronica treated him in season 2, season 3, and in season 4. There's nothing wrong with Archie's character. Like, there's actually nothing wrong. He's literally the most selfless character in the show. Like, he's basically like I can't say normal because like there's been a lot of death around him, so no, he's not really normal. I feel like he still needs some therapy, but he's still a character where he's not cringy and I can actually stand. Although I will say the most cringiest line he's ever said is,
"That means you haven't known the epic highs and lows of high school football."
After a guy just told him, the guy from jail said that he dropped out of the 4th grade to run drugs to support his nana. Not really an answer that you should tell somebody, Archie. It's really cringy and it's like, oh.
What?
Honestly, there's not a lot to say about him. He goes to jail for a crime he didn't commit. He gets pulled into a illegal boxing ring. He punches a lot of guys. He ran away from Riverdale. He got attacked by a bear. He lost his dad. Oh my gosh.
I miss Fred. I miss Fred so much. Oh my god.
I remember the first time I watched the first episode of season 4 when they dedicated it to Luke Perry and his character. Gosh, the ending when Archie was crying, like, it felt like I could even see that he felt bad for taking Hiram's side in season 2 at the end of in the middle of season 2, you know. And I just and the jalopy, I just, oh my god. He also reminds me of his dad. He always does a lot of good to help people. He always wants to protect the town of Riverdale, and he always wants to protect his friends, which is something that I really enjoyed, especially in season 4. So now I honestly want to address the whole like, oh, Archie's a fuckboy. Well, I say that Archie has had multiple girlfriends and multiple hookups. Yes, but I just don't get why some people are thinking that this is a big issue. This is something that actually happens like a lot these days. I'm not saying it's an a super hot, attractive quality. I don't know why like people have such an issue with this. For people to say that he's a fuckboy, no, he's not. A fuckboy is a guy who will literally invent any excuse to get into a girl's pants, or would try to just stay basically friends with benefits with that girl without thinking about any future relationship. Basically, fuckboys or even fuck girls thinks of like the boys and the girls they are attracted to as like objects. That's not what Archie is doing at all. Yes, he's dated a lot of girls, but like, I mean, I've dated some guys and some girls too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's something that's actually really realistic, and I think that the show is actually doing great because in the comics, Archie did date a lot of girls. He was infatuated by a lot of girls. So I don't know why it's really a problem and it's an issue. Season 5, I really liked the army storyline, his trauma and going back to the source of it, getting General Taylor locked up for what he did. His friend Eric was a good friend. Like, his storyline, like, I could actually, yes, sometimes was boring because, like, I mean, you mostly just punch some guys and that's practically all he does. Nothing is going to make me change my mind about Archie because he's still the most selfless character in the show. He really cares about his family and his friends. Not to mention how honest he is all the time. He never is trying to pull himself in difficult situations. Yes, he might have been in some, but again, at the end of the day, he always wants to do the right thing. And Archie is literally like another Fred for me at some point, which is why I really, really love Archie in the show. I want to talk about the cheating thing. I'm not condoning cheating. I did not condone what Archie did when he cheated on Veronica with Betty. Even though Veronica, I can't stand her, that doesn't mean that I condone cheating. Also, I mean, there are some stuff that Archie has done, you know, or said, and they weren't right, but that didn't change my opinion about him because, like, it's not like he's a bad character. He's so selfless and he's always trying to do the right thing. It's just the storylines that are given to him sometimes makes him look like the bad guy, but he really isn't. The way the writers are writing his character,
I honestly really like it.
the storylines, no, except for the army one, but there's literally nothing bad to say about Archie. In season 2, Veronica treated Archie like crap. She really did. Like, she tried to pull him into her father's plan. Yeah, Archie decided to side with Veronica, but I mean, she still treated him like a dog on a leash, as I've mentioned. Same thing in season 3. He did so much for her, and what did she do in return? She did not treat him right in season 3 at all. I can't believe Archie did all of that for her, and she basically did not do anything else except always take Hiram's side and then switch back to Archie, and then take back Hiram and then switch back to Archie. In season 4, it was kind of like the same thing. He was never happy with Veronica. He was happy in season 1 with her. I'm not gonna lie, like, he was. And I could say that in the first episodes of season 2, yeah, but afterwards, there are so many moments where Archie was so done with her. Like, he was so done with her bullshit. Now let's talk about him with Betty and why I think he will be happier with her. As most of you know, you've already known the reasons why I ship Betty and Archie, but I think he's going to be happier with her because she is someone that he trusts a lot, and whenever he's around Betty, he is happy and he feels safe. Really feel like Archie is very his true self when he's around Betty. Whenever he was with Betty, like, he would go back to music and actually acting like a teenager and not going into jail and running away from Riverdale and missing his SATs, and like, the cause of that was dating Veronica. With Betty, I feel like he really can be himself. Like, he doesn't have to deal with any of that. I saw the stills and the way they were looking at each other, the way they look at each other, it's so soft and sweet. I feel like the bomb will be a very big significance in their relationship. I feel like that's how it's gonna like unfold, and from there they're gonna share their trauma. And in season 6, in the mini-series event, Archie is like the positive and he brings so much light, and being with Betty, every time they smile around each other, they're so happy whenever they're with each other. And with everything else going in the show, I really feel like this will bring so much light into the show, and it makes me smile every time I see them together. It makes me smile. Lastly, I want to talk about his friendship with Jughead. This is something that I've always loved reading the comics. I love how Jughead was the funny one, and Archie would be the one being like,
oh, Jughead, why do you have to do that?
And they would always play pranks on other people. You see them going on adventures together in the Archie comics. It's amazing. It's fun to see their friendship. And in the show, it's just like not a lot of times that they have scenes together. In season 5, they did have scenes together, and I think they somewhat had a storyline together, but I feel like the show really failed on developing their friendship. All of the friendships, they're not properly developed, and that really upsets me. Here's to hoping that we can see Archie and Jughead like be friends. I'm so excited to see Betty and Archie in like a couple of days. Season 6 is premiering. I really am so excited to see them happy together because they really belong together. They're the end game. They are the end game of the show. This show, I feel like it could have done so much better on Archie's character, even though I do love Archie in the show, and he again is the most selfless character in the show. I feel like the writing of his character could have been done way better. Some people, Archie seems shady, but he's honestly the most like protective and selfless character, because at the end of the day, he always wants to do the right thing, like reincorporating the town of Riverdale. That is like Archie. This ends this video on my thoughts on Archie Andrews. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Archie? If you agree, if you disagree, if you think that he is the most selfless, caring character in the show. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you are also excited to see Betty and Archie's relationship in very soon, in a couple of days. Basically, let me know what are your thoughts on season 6. And yeah, that is it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.